I need not elaborate on the purpose of this gathering.
You're doing everything, I should only do this.
It is a gathering of fraternal affection. And I'm pleased that you have all come smiling and expectant of a good time of jollity on this day which has been made by God to celebrate the 90th birthday of Uncle Jimmy. You will remember that Uncle Jimmy was born a baby without any clothes on 90 years ago today, and he was also born on a Thursday. So at home his siblings called him Yo when they decided to call him by the day name. But let me tell you something which is a family secret. When Uncle Jimmy was born, he came out of the mother's womb and started saying things like, "What am I doing here?" And he wanted to know whether there was a mission set for him. So my said, please be patient and God will show us all the way and will spread your achievements in time. 90 years on, Uncle Jimmy is here. And if we are celebrating his 90th birthday, for all of you who know, you know it has been celebration of achievements. And so we thought we would have this portion of the program share in his achievements, because he has worked so heavily from those days up to now. Nobody is here to talk about his infancy, but I hear that in his infancy as at now, everybody said, "You're Kobweyi," because he was too white and all throughout his life he's been described as such. And at Mfantsipim, his achievement was not only intellectual, but he was, believe it or not, he was a star of the cricket field where he shone. And he was then of very small stature. He grew tall later. But he did shine and was noticeable mostly for his intellect and intellectual ability. So in those days he had a scholarship to go and read a degree in Cambridge. He did the tripos in history and anthropology and came out with a second-class upper from Cambridge in 1946. When he came out, some of us had not been to secondary school, but at Mfantsipim, we had a program every Friday for current affairs and for career advisors. And in 1952, Andrew Akutu and I were present in the assembly hall when we saw this white man arrive. They said, "Utugwe." And somebody told us that he was Mr. Bartels's brother-in-law. We were all rather overawed. And he came, and Mfantsipim had this special habit of acknowledging the degrees. And so they said, this 1952, meet Mr. J.V.L. Phillips, M.A. Kantar. And he was very M.A. Kantar, and we were gone with a check to listen to him. So Uncle Jimmy, the same person who is speaking on the microphone, there was a junior boy in Form 2 at the party. And I was watching this man. Only to them that he occupied one of the sublime posts in the Gold Coast Service, as Commissioner for Labour, and later on he was to become Principal Secretary in charge of the budget. And he's been marked nobly by that achievement. Ambassador K.B. Asante will speak to that. But let me explain something which is quite personal. On the 12th of December 1960, my wife, Agnes, who had been living with Uncle Jimmy, decided to take me to show him as a young singer. So on the 12th of December 1960, I was admitted to the carry luncheon of Auntie Rachel and Uncle Jimmy. I was to be suitably looked upon and assessed. I was quite relaxed. I think I passed the first test, and Agnes was pleased. Thereafter, I have known Uncle Jimmy, and I've been part of his family. And Uncle Jimmy, I want to rest my case of your career at this point, because from there on, others will be speaking about you. But let me say this, that when I first met you in your house, goodness me, you were master of the house. And I was to be on my best behavior. Or else Agnes said, you won't get very far. But I did my homework with youthful but humble confidence. I passed. Uncle Jimmy, we shall present to you a narration of your achievements, starting first with your entry into the civil service. Your entry into the service. And I have great pleasure in inviting Ambassador K.B. Asante to come and give his version of the civil service.
Of Achimota College, you joined the foreign service at its inception. Uncle Jimmy was already an icon in the Gold Coast Civil Service, whose strict, orderly ways I was to learn on the job. He was described to me by another civil servant, elderly man, as a brilliant, elegant being who had, and I quote, led astray one of Achimota's brilliant female students destined to great heights. Later, I had my doubt about who led whom astray. I had a memorable personal experience of the labor flair of Jimmy Phillips when he attended an ILO conference as commissioner, that is Minister for Labor, in Geneva. I was the ambassador, and I had been highly provoked by a distinguished Ghanaian who insisted on telling me what to do. I was furious, but the commissioner saved me from blowing my bottom off in front of a woman of national esteem. I knew of Uncle Jimmy's attitude to work and achievement when he was Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Finance. It was a period no less difficult than it is today. In fact, in many ways, it was more difficult. Only we had people like Uncle Jimmy at the helm of affairs in many crucial areas. Kwame Nkrumah had become president, and he was full of policies and strategies to achieve for Ghana his great objectives and to realize his mission and vision with immediate effect. Nkrumah worked with his Minister of Finance, but he discussed matters with those who spoke their mind, like James Phillips. The big stumbling block to what Nkrumah wanted to do was finance. It was difficult to tell President Nkrumah that there was no money. It was difficult to point out the drawbacks or dangers inherent in what looked like painless financing. And there were many such proposals in those days as they are today. But we learned to do away with it after we defeated. High officials like J.V.F. Phillips played invaluable roles in keeping the finances of the nation on even keel. Jimmy Phillips would say, yes, Mr. Minister, yes, Mr. President, yes, Mr. Aggrey, while he twisted what was said to conform to reality, which became the order he received. So he became an obedient civil servant. The three of us in the inner sanctuary of Master House knew that now and again, President Nkrumah would call J.V.F. Phillips and float some of his ideas and financial advice he had received. Astute Jimmy Phillips would agree with Osagyefo's main aims, point out with great tact the dangers in some of the financing proposals. And very often, these easy proposals were not adopted. President Nkrumah was not always happy with the views of Jimmy Phillips, but he knew Phillips was sincere and a nationalist, and he trusted him. Now and again, he would give special assignments to him, such as an assessment or consultancy on the Guida. These days, we would engage top analysts as consultants or advisors at great cost. J.V.L. Phillips tasked himself beyond his role as Principal Secretary of the Ministry of Finance, which worked hard to bring the Akosombo Dam to fruition. It will take all afternoon and in fact all evening to recount the achievements of Uncle Jimmy. Suffice it to say that this was beyond the call of duty. This has been a most fruitful life of 90 years. And so today, James Villiers led Phillips. On your 90th birthday, we, your colleagues in the Ghana Civil Service, say well done, great and faithful compatriots. You guided the finances of the country to the extent that the ignorant asked if government money was your father's money. You encourage officers in the Ministry of Finance to work as a team, and we, your colleagues, did not always take your crowded time with our problem. With your help and that of your colleagues, we who could not count money and yet were accounting officers because we were principal secretaries, managed to administer the rules and procedures which maintain sanity in the financial system of the country. God knows what we want now is sanity in that system. We want more people like it. Uncle Jimmy, we are proud of you. I thank you for your courtesies to me personally and the joy you brought to my heart when you presented me to be installed Master of all this knowledge. Uncle Jimmy, love when you are Fante. I go James Villiers next. Distinguished administrator and patron. We salute you. We wish you happy 90th birthday and many more healthy years.
Thank you, Ambassador.